Social and political commentary from a Christian male perspective.
Woo! Just like that, ladies and gentlemen, we are back. You saw the thumbnail, you saw the title, so you know what we're about to do. Have you ever thought, what would it take to create a movement that would completely change, and I mean completely change, the political climate and landscape of your town? Have you ever thought about that? Like, what would it take? Would you need like what kind of people would you need? Where would they need to be? What kind of movement would you be doing? Door knocking and campaigning and podcasting. What would you do to do that? And then like, how would it change? What would you change it to? And how would you move them from one place to another? Have you ever thought about that? Well, tonight we have a guest on from the great state of Illinois in the beautiful city of Chicago to talk about that exact topic. So please buckle in. I definitely want you all to be a part of this conversation as we talk with Flip Chicago Red. So please make sure that if you would, please drop your comments and questions down in the chat. I'll do my best, and the moderators will do our best to make sure we have those, because Danny said she's open to answer all your questions. So I want to, before I talk too long, because y'all did not come to hear me. I know you didn't. So let's go ahead and bring Danny in. Shout out to you. How are you, Danny?
Hey, how you guys doing?
Quite well. Thank you so much for coming on today. Now, I didn't want to ruin it by giving my horrible intro. So I want to give you an opportunity to tell us who you are. Don't tell us too much about the organization Flip Chicago Red yet, because we want to get all of that in. But tell us who you are, Danny, if you don't mind.
Well, I'm Danielle Carter Walters because I'm married, and I'm a trainer from Chicago. My business is You Against You Fitness, and that's what basically for, I want to say about 10 years, that's what I've been doing in Chicago. So I train a lot of people in Chicago, a lot of women, especially. Okay. So yes, that's what I do.
I love it. I love it. And you are born and raised. You're a Chicagoan, a tried and true Chicagoan.
Yes.
I love it. I love it. All right, here it comes. What is ready? What is Flip Chicago Red? Like Chicago's, well, first, before we do that, can you give us just an overview? What is the political landscape of Chicago right now before we introduce Flip Chicago Red? What's Chicago like?
Well, I think now, since the mayor, Brandon Johnson, 6% approval rating. So,
man, he fast tracked it to the bottom. He going in the wrong direction.
Yes. He's going down in history as the worst mayor in America. So I think now that we are shining the light and people are seeing what's going on in Chicago, and they're experiencing Brandon Johnson and his policies. I think now that a lot of people are open. At first, it's hard to, it would have been hard, maybe 2016. It was hard to talk about this and really come out and have people to say, okay, I'm willing to listen. Now, people are at least willing to listen and changing their perspective.
I love it. All right. So at the current moment, he has a 6% approval rating. What is he doing to get a 6% approval rating? That's barely putting your name on the paper. I mean, my goodness, what is he doing? He's failing.
Yes, failing, nothing. That's the problem. So the main thing he's doing is he's putting illegals in front of the citizens.
Gotcha.
So as you know that, I don't know if you are sure that, and know that we're in a $1 billion deficit. And most of that money was spent on illegals, giving them free everything.
Gotcha.
Now, the citizens, we are suffering. Period. Losing homes, they're stealing homes, and just the economic resource in the Black community is done with. So we're really going through, and not including the Biden and Harris administration, the Bidenomics that everybody said that they told us was working. So doing with that economy, and with Brandon Johnson spending all our money on illegals and stealing the money, because they're stealing a lot of money, the CTU. So with that happening, we are just in a deficit, and now he's proposing. Now he ran on he would not raise property taxes and all these good things.
Right, I heard that.
So now that he just stole the money and gave our money to illegals, now he came back and tried to propose a $300 million property tax on us.
Right, right.
So yeah, and so with that, it was a lot of things like people like, no, because we are already losing our home. You are already stealing people homes, Black people homes, like Miss Jessica Jackson, Zoe. You already, so no, we're not going to allow that. So it was pushed back. And so now, like I said, and with that's why he's really dropping in the the 6% because
Right.
of really this migrant crisis.
Got it. Now, so we got Brandon Johnson. He's working hard to get a 0% approval rating. All right. And then in steps Flip Chicago Red. Tell us what this is about. What is this organization about?
So Chicago Flips Red and it was just like we had no other choice but to flip Chicago Red, because look at the economics in the Black neighborhood. Look at your communities. You don't have to, it's like we don't have to convince you. You can just go right outside and look if you're in Chicago, and then, or if you're in any, New York, California, any Democrat ran city, go into the urban neighborhoods, go into the Black communities, just go step outside and look at your neighborhoods. So with us, we have abandoned buildings all in our neighborhood. We have schooling. We can't even talk about that. The schoolings, most of the schools are closed down. And the schools that we do have, the kids can't read. They can't, we're the lowest, period. And now you got to look at it. Everything, the businesses that we had, we're talking about in the Black communities, we don't have none. When you look at our community, who's in our community? We have all foreigners. If they say Black people like chicken, but how come we don't have no chicken places in here? Why we have Arabs and Indians, that own Sharks and JJ's here in Chicago?
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, so business, we don't have no businesses in our community. So now, in everything that we did have, far as the, back in the 80s and 90s and things, we had Black-owned grocery stores. We had movie theaters. We had things we could do in our community. We had YMCAs. That's why you see all them kids downtown. If you saw the videos, how all those kids are going downtown, destroying downtown,
right?
Because they took everything that we had in our community, stole our money, pushed us out of our neighborhoods, filled it with illegals, and now they own everything, and we just out here. So we had no choice. We were in a dire situation. If we didn't if we didn't stand up at this point in time, it was over. If that fake Black woman would have got into, that Indian woman would have gotten into office, it was over for us in Chicago, especially the Black community. It was over, because you see that Brandon Johnson, even now, he's fighting to Trump and everybody. Tom Homan, he's saying that he won't even allow him to come in here and get the criminals, the illegal criminals that's being saturated in our communities. So now we have abandoned buildings in our community. They stealing Black people property. So now your economic wealth that we did have or could have, or the homes you can leave for your kids, they stealing that from Black people. So y'all just gonna think y'all gonna take everything from us, and we just gonna keep sitting down and going for it, and then you gonna try to bring 70,000 illegals to Chicago and place them in our neighborhood? No, we couldn't. And then you go down there for help. All these things, when they stealing Black people property, when you saying that we got illegal restaurants on every corner in our neighborhoods, we got crime, we got illegals, all just having sex in the park, everything. Then you go down there to complain about it and have somebody to do something about it, but then you are faced with, guess what? You can't get no help because everything is ran by Democrats, from governor to your Cook County Board president, to your mayor, to your aldermen. So where you gonna go for help? You don't have no Republicans here to say, because Republicans are not for illegal immigration, open borders. They're for the American citizens. So you don't have no opposing in Chicago. It's a
Right, right.
Democratic machine, so it's no help at all for you.
Wow. Let me ask this, and I'm going a little bit off of our questions. I'm going to rift a little bit. You've mentioned this several times, stealing houses. And I've heard this story again with Dalton and Thornton Township, respectfully. How in the world does somebody steal a house?
Well,
That just makes no sense to me. Go ahead.
they with eminent domain, or like with
Yeah.
displacing, like the Obama Center. That's displacing people.
Got it.
The Obama Center they're building in Chicago, money grab. They're displacing a lot of Black people. So these people are like elderly. Their homes are paid off. You know, so they don't have, they're not trying to move. They want to leave those homes for their kids.
For the kids,
and so
yeah.
now so now you're taking their property. You're not paying them for what it's worth. So
Got it.
now now they got to go and get a whole nother mortgage at 80 and 90 or 70, because they've been coming up there. And then now with Zoe, Sandpiper was it was just like a landmark here in Chicago.
Okay.
It was Sandpiper Lounge.
Yep.
And I used to go there when I was younger. All the greats came there. I believe Obama announced his presidency there.
Really? Okay.
So it was, so all the people, all the Jesse Jackson, everybody came because the Sandpiper Lounge was a landmark, a Black, business. So now with Zoe, what she's going through is they did a fraudulent deed, and they took it like they owned it, knocked her building down, and sold it to a government, be a government grocery store, Save a Lot. And
Wow.
they thought she didn't have. So this is what they usually do. You're older, and so most people, elderly citizens, they don't know. They don't have nobody fight for them. Most of them are in their 80s, 70s. So when you tell them, oh, we got to take this, we're doing this for violations or anything like that, they really don't know.
Gotcha.
So they are, and the way they doing it, they are forging deeds and things like that. So this is how they're taking their property. So
That's
now
crazy.
they just happen to have somebody who they try to do it with Zoe's mother, but they didn't know her daughter, Zoe, wasn't going for that. And then the fact that they didn't know that, and most Black people don't know this and don't do this, we don't have trust. So we just have, we don't have things like that because we wasn't taught that. It would just so happen that Zoe and her mother had the original deed in a trust.
Got
So
it.
when they pulled the trust out, it say, oh no, this belongs to this, not City of Chicago. How
Got
y'all
it.
forging deeds? But they've been doing that,
Wow.
Yeah, so that's
Okay.
And let me just say that. So they've been doing that. And then when you go down there to get help or say, hey, somebody, this is a fraudulent deed, the City of Chicago, blah, blah, blah. Guess what? They put everything in place in those positions over zoning, over buildings, over this, over that, the lawyers, the judges. So all of those Democrats, we're talking about a machine here. So
It is a machine.
So you can't get no help, because they all in it together. They put in places so they can do this. Chicago is the #1 corrupt city in America. You see what I'm saying?
I've heard that, yeah.
This is what it is. So how do they maintain that? Because they have to put these people in place to keep who's on code, to keep this ring going. So when you go in, you can't get no help from the judges to Cook County Board, Fred Winkle, because they all in on it. So you say, okay, I had this deed, and you showing this, and like I said, most people don't have the original deed. Then they saying, oh no, you look at records, oh no, it's showing this, it's showing this, and you say no, it's so, and you go to a judge, what's happening. So it's just a machine. No help, no way.
So, okay, so that's what Zoe Lee was talking about her mom and her property. Okay, I didn't understand fully what she meant. Now, as to get the word out, to get your name and notoriety out for Chicago Flips Red, what's your mode, and how do y'all go about letting people know about you and what you all are about?
Well, we are like I said, we're going to the city council meetings.
Yeah,
we are making sure and the main thing is to educate the people in Chicago, because you got to understand, This Chicago has been a Democrat stronghold since 1930s.
Yeah, for sure.
That's how long Democrats have been in power from head to toe, like far
Hmm.
as the in Chicago.
For
So
sure.
we are not educated far as just the Black community itself. We wasn't
Hmm.
never taught to be into politics, to look at
Okay.
policies, so we were always taught vote blue no matter who. That's just what was in us.
Right.
Republicans are racist. Democrats are for the people. Vote blue no matter who. So now that's all we've been doing for generations and generations and generations. And in order to get somebody to unlearn what has been put in there for several years, now it's hard. But
For sure.
you have to show the corruption. You have to
Hmm.
show, because we know that 1 and 1 ain't making 2. We understand.
That is
We
true.
can see. We're saying like, hold on. You saying one thing, but look at my community. You saying Democrat Party that you are for the Black community, you are for the Black citizens, but we always coming in last on everything. You're
Got it.
saying that you are for us, the party, you're for us, but we walk out in our communities and our kids died in the streets, and then you take away shot spotters, something that pinpoints where the shots are coming from. So everything that you all pushing is for the detriment of our community, but you say you for us, so that's not making sense. So
I,
people know that, but they just don't know the policies and the laws that people they're putting in place. So that's when we coming in at. We're coming in to say, look, you know why you got abandoned buildings in your neighborhood? You know why your kids can't read? You know why your schools look like that? You know why you got all these illegals that have saturated your neighborhood? You know
hmm
why you don't have no Black-owned business in your neighborhood yet? All the Hispanics got his businesses and houses in their neighborhoods. Chinatown got Chinatown sold up. The over there
Jewtown.
with the white community got theirs sold up. But you see in your community what it's looking like. You know why that's happening? Because this is the way your Black aldermen are voting. This is the way that the policies of the Democrat Party. So we are doing Famous Friday on Zoe channel, and
Okay.
we let everybody know what their alderman. We going back each alderman. We got 50 aldermen.
Wow.
Every Friday we pick an alderman and we
Hmm.
show their constituents how they've been voting, what they're voting on, how is it
Okay.
hurting them. So now they can understand this is why I have abandoned buildings in my community. This is why we don't have no Black-owned business, because you sold out our community, Alderman Harris, Michelle Harris, because you getting a cut from that white developer who want you know what I'm saying, to put affordable homes there with millions of dollars. So you getting a cut. So this is why our neighborhoods look like that. This is why we can't own nothing in our neighborhoods, because you selling us out to the highest bidder and getting your pockets back.
Wow.
So we're showing all of them have their voting, what they're voting on, what policies that is, and how it's hurting their community. So now they can connect the dots and understand this is why this is happening. This is why, and this is who's doing this. This is the policies of this party. So you just gotta educate. You gotta educate the citizens of Chicago, because the problem is we just never was.
So if I'm understanding correctly, you're like, hey, we have a problem. We all see it. So that's one dot. How do I understand why is this happening in my community? That's the other dot. And you all are helping to draw that line from what I see out on my street corner, what I see happening in the community, to the alderman, to the policy, to the whatever system
Mayor.
is causing that problem. Is that fair?
Yes, yes.
Perfect. Perfect.
And going shining a light. We go definitely City Hall. Now that it's nice, we're knocking on doors. We're taking it, we're community by community, block by block, neighborhood by neighborhood.
I
We're
love it.
going in those communities and letting them know, hey, if you say this, why is this way? Why is this that way? We've been calling for and asking, like we got trash everywhere. Why,
Mhm.
when you go into a certain neighborhood, they got garbage cans on every corner so they can put trash? Why we don't have garbage cans in our community? Why, when you go in certain neighborhoods up north and stuff, everything is beautiful, grass cut, smelling good. Why when you come in our communities, we got illegal restaurants on every street corner in a residential area where we pay taxes for our homes. You see what I'm saying? You got to show them the difference. You got to see with us, you can't tell, you got to show them. Okay, look at this. Look at this. And people saying, because now people can understand, they seeing these illegals everywhere. They seeing these illegals taking over where your kids used to work in these jobs. Now you see illegals taking these jobs. When Trump said black jobs and black people got offended, now you know where the Targets that was in your community, in the black community, where the Walmarts was in your black community, all these, where Amazon. Who do you see now? Hispanics in a predominantly black area, who you see working in all these businesses, Hispanics. So where your kids gonna work at when your kids, the summer jobs, or your kids in college? Well, those jobs used to be for the community, for the kids in the community. Now where your kids gonna be working at, or where you gonna work at when you just need a job? Because now you got illegals working in those jobs. So now kids ain't got no job. They ain't got nothing to do. That's why they downtown tearing everything up. Because we don't have anything in our community. The field houses we did have, and we fought for and showed that. They took our functional field houses where the kids would go play basketball, things like that, to just stay off the street. They had a bunch of things for the kids. The senior citizens can go there, play bingo, work out. They took those field houses and Brandon Johnson and gave it to the illegals in our schools, housed them, and we couldn't even go in those places. We're talking about, we pay taxes for those communities. I mean, for those field houses. We pay taxes for those schools. And yet you don't even listen to those citizens. You take all that, the little resources we do have, and you give it to somebody who have not paid a dime into this system. You take all our money and spend it on them. You gotta be crazy. Free healthcare, free schooling, free transportation. Where they busing their kids to schools. They get free dental. Tell me how many of you all can go to the dentist right now and get a root canal, whatever. You know what I'm saying? We can't even afford that. But they getting free housing. Half of us getting kicked out of our homes if they're not spilling them because of this high economy that the Biden and Harris established. So we, in the layoff and how bad the economy was, we're getting laid off, or we can't even afford the insurance. We can't even afford what's happened, the taxes on our homes, because they steady going up. But yet and still, y'all paying for illegals to have free housing and have bought illegals houses. We're on the news talking about it, celebrating it. Illegals.
That's crazy.
4 or 5 illegals in 2 years. The church, the mayor, everybody came together and bought these people houses while we losing ours and y'all still in ours.
That's crazy. So let me ask you this though. As it relates, because I think we all can agree that there's some problems in the leadership structure. But as we saw, and I think we probably saw even in Chicago, Lori was a problem too. Y'all got rid of Lori, but y'all got Brandon. So what is your system in place to replace them with better candidates? Or because I would hate for you to get rid of Brandon and get Ray over here, and he even worse than Brandon. And y'all be like, man, I miss Brandon. I don't want that to be the case. So what is how do y'all go about finding candidates and getting like-minded people who are for Chicagoans and want them to succeed and prosper? Chicagoans to succeed and prosper.
So like he was just saying, and that's what we are talking about. You see how she was bad, but because we're not educated, now people were claiming they were talking about how bad Lori was, right?
Yeah.
But you see what we did. Like you said, we managed to vote somebody even worse than her. So why did that happen? Because they still voted a Democrat in. You see what I'm saying? Now, why we didn't change then? Because look, we know that it was all Democrats. We know she was a Democrat. Why we didn't change then?
Did y'all run one though? That's gonna be the person they're gonna ask. I can see it in the chat. They're gonna say, but did y'all run somebody? Go ahead.
No, because like I said, we wasn't even around then.
Gotcha. Okay, I apologize.
I'm trying to give you the mindset of people. They knew
Got
he
it.
was a problem. So instead of them on their own using critical thinking, saying,
Mm-hmm.
okay, she's a problem, let's vote Paul Vallis. He was a white guy who was his policies were way better. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? Before it was way better. He was still, but it was way better than Brandon's. But what?
Got you.
They used identity politics to vote him, Brandon, in because Paul Vallis was white. You see what I'm
Got
saying?
it.
So it's the identity politics that the Democrats still use with us. So
Fair enough. Fair enough.
now, so that was then when Lori, we wasn't around. So by us understanding that because we were those people, now we have to make sure that first we educate. First, we let you know, no matter who they put, no matter what face they put up in front of you, the Democrat policies are their policies. It's going to
Got
be
it.
whoever they put up, the Democrats put up. They're just aligning with what their party wants. So if their party wants abortion, if their party wants to push LGBTQ to your kids, transgender affirming care, which is cutting off everything,
Right.
if they want to do it, open borders, those are the Democrat policies. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So no matter who they put in place, if a Democrat put in place, this is what you're going to get. So now understanding that, now you got to say now, listen, you got to be open for something different. If you get another Democrat, this is what you're going to get. The same which you just got rid of, Brennan Johnson, 6%.
Yep.
Now we have to go and look at what the Republican Party policies are. They're not for open borders. They're not for this LGBTQ.
Yeah.
I'm a Christian. They're not. They're
Nice.
for the nucleus family, man, woman, child.
Sure.
They're
Right.
not for. It's only two genders. They believe in Christianity. They're for freedom of speech. So now that we are educating them, now they're open up to now. If you put up a Republican.
Mm-hmm.
Now they can say, okay, you know what? I can see that. So what we're doing is educating first because we only have almost 2 years before this next local election. So now we're educating and now we're getting candidates. We're asking any Republicans
There we go.
to run. So we've been having town halls. We have town halls and things. So any Republican that wants to run, then, come in, let us vet you, see what you're about, because we're not getting behind anybody. You have to be for Chicago. You have to be for what the values of Chicago and the Republican Party is, which is, and I'm gonna tell you about, and I'm gonna talk to you about another thing, but yeah, which is where I go for there. But you have to have these core values that the Republicans have, far as no sanctuary cities, because you can't be for sanctuary cities because we got to get rid of these sanctuary cities because that's killing us. So we can't be for those. We can't be for the teaching this to our kids, this LGBTQ and our kids. You have to be tough on crime because as you see, we got kids riding around in cars with extended clip. Everybody got a gun in the car. Driving, shooting kids, everybody, and then they let them get right back out. And they doing the same thing. They keep victimizing the neighborhood, the same thing. So they're soft on crime. So the things that's plaguing, therefore, we're not a lot of regulations. That's why all these stores are moving out and businesses are moving because everybody's stealing. The crime's so bad. The taxes are so high. You see what I'm saying? So you have to understand that these are the things that have to change. If we want a better Chicago, it must. And the Democrat Party is not it because they don't believe in none of those things. So the candidates we have to be for, they have to run as Republican. We have to vet them, know exactly who they are, what are their core values, what have they done, and then we're going to get behind them to run. But we have to start, and it has to be with this mental with Chicago because it's so embedded in the brains, especially the Black citizens, us. So we have to open their eyes and doing it with the education and showing with visual what's really happening.
I got you. So is it, because there's a lot of layers and there's a lot of different
Yeah.
people, aldermen and council person and block captains and of course judges and all these different people. Are you starting with everybody, or are you just trying to say, hey, we need to get 20 aldermen? You said there's 50, I think you said. So
Yes,
we need to flip 20 of these aldermen
Yes.
to. I mean, is it a systematic, or is it just all the bets on the table?
Now our goal, because Pritzker, he's terrible. I don't know.
Right.
I don't know if you're familiar with the governor, but he's
a
just
trip.
as worse as Brandon Johnson. You see
For
what
sure.
I'm saying? Just as worse. So everybody hates Pritzker too. So Illinois itself, Illinois is red. What's holding Illinois from for turning red itself is Chicago and Cook County.
Yep.
So we have to really work with Chicago. You see what I'm saying? Illinois ready to turn red. So all we have to do is get a governor, which we have somebody in mind already, which is a Republican governor for them. So Illinois is ready. It's Chicago, us, and Cook County that we have to, in order to have a chance to turn red. So we want the governor. We're working with him, a governor, Republican governor, but we need, and we need that mayor seat, Republican. Like you said, we need at least, and I'm saying at least 23 aldermen, because you gotta have somebody with opposition. When you just have everybody in agreement with everything, where you gonna go get help? Because everybody agree, all 50 agree with everything. They all Democrats. You see what I'm saying? So we have to get at least 20, like you said, I'm saying 23, maybe more than that. Alderman seats. We gotta get
25. Right.
Yes. 25. We have to get that mayor seat. We have to get now Cook County board president Tony Prattwinkle. She kind of like the mastermind of all this. She have to go. So we have to get those main seats. We have to get the alderman seats, the governor seat, the mayor, the Cook County board president, and we're going for the Tammy Duckworth, the state senator. We're going for all of them. But this is what we have to really start with, like I said, Chicago, the mayor, those aldermen, and the Cook County board president. Because if we do that, then,
it'll move. So if I'm understanding correctly, there is a plan. Sure, you'd love to snap your finger and all of the yahoos get kicked out. But realistically, there's a slow burn of vetting some candidates, making sure that they have the right values and they understand. Because again, Illinois politics is very different than here in Georgia. I'm going to go on a limb and say it's different than anywhere on the planet.
Yes.
So understand it and then be able to get in here and make a difference and exact a change. Because there was a question earlier someone asked about, well, what should your mayor have done when all these, I'm trying to find when the, here it is right here. Shout out real quick. Please ask her what would the mayor should have done with the immigrants. They were homeless and starving in the middle of the winter. I'd like to hear the solution. I'm going to go on a limb. I'm just go on a limb. He started the problem initially because I really don't think that New York and Chicago ever thought that guy was going to bust these people, ship these people up there because they thought they were too far away from the border. Like, I can say whatever. But lo and behold, when that door came a knocking, it was a problem. Now, I'm okay with him saying, look, they're homeless and they were starving. That is fine. We're going to take care of it. We're going to get you something to eat. And you're going to find yourself a home on a plane going back to Mexico. We're going to get you up out of here. I don't think that, I'm sorry, I don't understand the fight and the vitriol that we have, Americans have with other Americans to keep people here that are not American. That makes no sense to me.
And listen, see, people talk and they don't understand. First of all, you made a conscious decision. Think about it. I made a conscious decision to come over here illegally. So therefore, that made you a criminal when you came over here illegally. So you broke the law anyway. So now, dude, since you broke that law, now is it our responsibility to make sure that you eat, you sleep, Now listen, the people, we already going through it. And remember, eggs, all that, the food prices, remember the house prices, the last 3 or 4 years, we was feeling it. We was going through it, Americans.
Yeah,
so
for
now,
sure.
You got Biden and Harris allowed 22 million people to cross that border illegally. Now, sanctuary cities, let's talk about that. A sanctuary city don't mean that we feed you, clothe you, give you all free stuff, everything, and then take away from the citizens. That's the taxpayer citizens. That's not what a sanctuary city is. And not only that, when Abbott had told everybody that the border was open, that they were flooding into through Texas, what did the media call him? They said he was lying, right? They kept saying, look, nothing to see here. The border is secure. What did Kamala go on there and say? The border is secure. Nothing to see here, folks. So now everybody lying. The media lying to y'all. The Kamala lying to you all. But look, Abbott ain't signed up to be a sanctuary city. His constituents saying, look, these people flooding into Texas. We didn't ask for this. You better do something, Abbott. And guess what? That was genius what Abbott did. All y'all mayors,
it was savage.
We had Lori talking about keep the buses, bring them here. You were xenophobic. You all of this, call them names. All the time about bring them here, because see, they wanted that money. They thought they was gonna get in and steal the money. Bring them here. We are a welcome city. So guess what? Abbott said, you know what? Since all y'all calling me xenophobic, since y'all talking about this crisis is not happening, since y'all talking about the border is so secure, let's send them to the sanctuary cities who talking about bring them here. And then guess what? When he starts sending them buses here, guess what happened? Oh, the border ain't closed. Oh, we are being invaded.
Now we got problems, right?
You see what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Now the light was shining. Now, one thing I do think that Abbott should have did, he should have sent them all to Biden and Kamala and all the Democrats. He should have sent them all to their houses.
Well, they did in Florida. Florida did send them up there. You're right.
And they got rid of them. But so they were talking all that stuff about bring them here, keep the buses coming, keep them coming. And that's just what he did. He didn't ask for that. He's a Republican. That ain't what they about, but these sanctuary cities. So yeah, he did exactly what he's supposed to do. Now what your mayor should have did was say, okay, you know what? We don't have the money. I cannot take from my citizens of Chicago because it's already bad here and we don't have enough ready. So, like you said, come here, feed you or whatever, but you all have to go.
You got 48 hours.
You gotta go. You have 48 hours and you all have to go. But because I keep telling these people, because that's not the Democrat, that's not their way. They wanted, we found out in 2011, they had already put in place that they was going to bring these people over here. It was in 2011. So this wasn't this was planned. And so, and Brandon Johnson actually signed an executive order, so they can't keep blaming Lori, to allow immigration here and allow these people here. So what I keep trying to get y'all to understand, the Democrat Party, this is their policies. Therefore, open borders. They wanted this invasion to come here. They planned this in 2011. The CTU, whose Brandon donors, who he's bought and paid for, went to Venezuela already, and that's why they brought all these kids here and put them in public school. Wow! So they were getting paid already. So it's all an illegal alien scam that they already, and they were down for it. Brandon Johnson was down for it. The Democrats were down for it because Brandon Johnson thought Biden was going to keep giving him that money, but Biden didn't. He only gave him that $50 million and left his butt hanging. And so now he thought he stole that money and thought he was going to get more, and he didn't. But he thought Kamala was going to get in, and that's what they was going to keep funding and funneling money with this illegal crisis. But he wasn't expecting for us to fight back. He wasn't expecting for Black America, Black citizens to come up there and start shining a light on what his butt was doing and all the stealing he was doing with this illegal alien scam. He wasn't expecting that. And they never expected for Trump to get in office. So no, baby, don't blame what they should have did was say, put America first, put the Chicago citizens first. And we wouldn't be now in $1 billion deficit. And look at our communities. We don't have, the first responders. Why our firemen, they don't even have a contract? Why the trucks, the wheels falling off the fireman trucks and stuff? They've been complaining about getting new. You gonna spend our money on illegals, but you can't get the firemen, the first responders. You can't get them trucks, new trucks. You can't get them a contract. We can't. We're short police officers. Look at
Right.
all murder here in Chicago. You mean to tell me you couldn't spend that money? Our money, because it's not his money, it's a taxpayer money.
For
you
sure.
couldn't spend that money on giving us more policemen in our community. You couldn't spend that money on our communities where our economic, because we're in economic poverty in our communities. You didn't see fit to spend our money on us, but you saw
That's
fit
good
to spend
stuff.
that money on somebody who didn't put a dime in the system over the people that you put your hand on the Bible when you were sworn in, and you said, when I come in, my number one thing is to uphold the Constitution and to protect the citizens that I'm over.
Chicago. Yeah, that's serious. I love it. All right, let's go ahead and thank you so much, Danny. Let's go ahead and bring Zoe up in here as well from Chicago Flips Red. Zoe Lee, how are you?
Hi, how you doing?
Quite well, thank you. Quite well. All right. Now, you was in the chat. Now, you were saying that y'all got a plan and you had some things to share. So I want to give you an opportunity. First of all, welcome and thank you so much for your time today. I was peeping out your live stream earlier. Yeah. So I'm glad you had the time to come over now. Feel free. Anything that we missed, or Danny, she about to teach. You got the teacher finger.
No, let me tell you something. Hey, so can you because he asked about how they were stealing property, and I gave a brief summary.
You said it right. It's just
I just want to make sure they understood.
You was decent. You said what you had to say when it came to it.
She was decent. I love it.
But no, that's a whole separate thing. But my overall fight is the theft of properties that are happening in our communities, and it's been happening for a long time, especially in the city of Chicago, from when the first Daley was in office.
I got you.
And it just so happened that it happened with my family. My godfather, who owned the Sandpiper Lounge, very known lounge on the south side of Chicago that should have been a landmark. They knocked it down without compensation, was violation of the Fifth Amendment, and they were under the impression, what they're going to say, we're going to say they're under the impression that the city owned it. But no, the City of Chicago Buildings Department has been running an eminent domain scheme for the longest in our communities in the name of building violations without going to buildings court. And you cannot knock down anybody's building without a court order. And policies, no matter what policy, it does not override the U.S. Constitution. So that's my fight. It's a separate fight. But however, that fight, along with me and Ms. Jessica, Chicago Flip Red happened. Chicago Flip Red happened on the frustration of not getting any help on the federal level, then going to the state, you're not getting any help, and then going to the local, and you're like, okay, this is pathetic. You understand? Yeah. And so I looked at it as, this is terrible customer service. There's no way in the world I'm going to continue to I never even cared about politics. At the end of the day, I got to eat regardless. However, my mother has been a Democrat. My mother was born in 1949. She's been voting since she was 18. These your people. These your people, and they're not doing you right. So at the end of the day, there's no possible way that you guys can continue to vote this way. Like, there's no possible way. So that's where I came in at. And then while I was down there fighting for my mom, I started realizing, like, damn, the city of Chicago is laundering money all day. All they do is launder money all day through these different committees, these different bonds, this TIF money, the tax increment financing. I just don't think our community, our race, we don't realize this stuff because they have us all messed up as far as we, of this race thing. But the whole time, the Democratic Party has been the most detrimental to us. So that's where I'm at. Yeah, you all right? Okay, there. Okay.
Yep.
But be the most detrimental to us, the Democratic Party, and it has always been. And I'm 39 years old. There's no way in the world that for the next 60 years, people going to vote like this again. There's absolutely no way. And honestly, I'm not taking it from neither party. However, you can't sit here and say that the Republican Party has been terrible to us because we have never gave the Republican Party a chance. I have never, not one time have I ever thought, when I think about the Republican Party, honestly, I think about Condoleezza Rice and Colin Powell.
Okay. Love them both. Can you speak a little bit more on that? That's something I don't think people think about. Chicago has been run by Democrats for definitely as long as I've been alive, and probably even longer than that. And there are other areas as well. Pick a major city. Tell me when the last time it was run by a Republican or another party besides Democrat. So you can't keep blaming it. Like, you can't blame Chicago and what we've been talking about tonight on anybody that's red. This is a blue problem. Just like Lake Michigan. Is Lake Michigan blue? Okay, it might not be blue yet. But you got my point. Like, this is y'all's problem. Like, you have to own this. You have to own this. So don't blame it on Republicans. Don't blame it on conservatives or libertarians or anybody else. This is your problem. And helping them to see that, I think, so I really would love for you to just say that again, tease that out a little bit more, because that's something I don't think people are conceptualizing. Republicans haven't done this.
Yeah, but it's not. And I was trying to explain to people, like, when I first started this fight, I'm a big believer in the U.S. Constitution. I ride with the U.S. Constitution. So when I first started this fight, it wasn't about a race. It wasn't about a color. It wasn't about nationality. It was, y'all violated the 5th Amendment and the 14th Amendment, and y'all got to pay. This is y'all laws. Y'all put these laws together.
Right.
So that's what I was on. Then digging deep into it, I'm like, this is literally a machine, and this is why it's going to continue. The Democratic Party in the city of Chicago, they're going to continue this if no one does not put a stop to it. And the only way that you can put a stop to it is flipping Chicago red. You have to get some conservative people in office. I don't want to hear, because you'll talk to some people here that are elected officials and say, well, you don't have to, this is bipartisan. You don't have to claim Democrat or Republican when you run. Yes, you do. Because if, say, I run for office, Danny run for office, Jessica run for, any of us run for office, Chicago flips red. If they're not registered as a Republican, when they get their ballot, they will only have just the Democrats on one side. If anybody runs as a Republican, you will not get that ballot. So you automatically, if you're a black person and you're already registered for Democrat for forever, when you get your ballot to go vote in the primary, the primary? Yeah, primary. Get the primary, you automatically will lose if you do not register as a Republican. But when you talk to these people, they'll say, you don't got to register as it. Yes, you do. You have to. And they have it like that because it's a machine. And a machine that I believe that me and Miss Jessica have broken, but it's a machine that will that they were trying to build the little baby machine. The old machine was breaking.
Little baby machine.
They were dying. People dying out. The last people left is Timothy Evans, Tony Preckwinkle, and them ankles. You understand what I'm saying?
For sure,
There ain't that many left. So now they're trying to build the little machine with these kids, the new kids. For instance, Alderman Stephanie Coleman. Her mother was an alderwoman. And now she's in there now. You understand? It's Lamont Robinson. His godmother is Tony Preckwinkle. You understand? So let's keep it going. But this time we're doing it with the younger version.
With younger versions, right?
Then you got the Hispanic KKK that's running the Socialist Party. I call them Hispanic KKK. Anybody that's a progressive socialist, alderman or anything, you Hispanic KKK. So you got them in there that's running things that don't, because they're literally running City Hall. So you have them, and then you have us that are not politically aligned, and we keep voting this same way, or we're not voting. Everything is going to be the same. No. Everything is not going to be the same, but we have to be politically aware, politically aligned, because now they're building a baby machine that is not going to happen. On my watch, on Chicago Flips Red watch, it's not going to happen. But that's how the cycle continues.
So go ahead. So give us what were your baby steps? Like, okay, so I'm looking at my town. My town is completely run by Democrats. Is run the big machine, the medium sized machine, all of it. I'm like Goldilocks over here. What are your baby steps? What should they do first? What would you do first if you were talking to me or somebody else that is realizing that, you know, my town probably needs a flip bread too, or get a what would you say?
They need to go get the budget. They need to go look at the budget in their city. Then they need to start looking at how much money and their property tax money is allocated to their community. That's where you can start. Then if they have TIF money in their area, I don't know if they have TIF, it's only in certain cities, but I'm pretty sure they have TIF money in all. It may be called something else. Ours is tax increment financing money. Then they need to go look at that money to see where is that money, because that's supposed to be for our infrastructure. So where is that money going to? What developers are they continuing or they're using? And then also you have to go down to y'all city hall. You have to go down to your committee meetings. You have to go down. You have to understand who's in office. You need to know who's your attorney general. You need to know these things. You need to know who's your governor. You need to know what they're passing. What budgets are they? Who's voting on these budgets? What's the pension look? What's y'all pension plan looking like? Because ours is Titanic. Okay, it's gone. You understand what I'm saying?
Not Titanic.
Yeah, it's Titanic. Iceberg right ahead. Gone. It's done. You understand? So we're bankrupt. The city of Chicago bankrupt.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, they're just holding on for dear life, but we're done. It's Kwame Kilpatrick over here.
Yeah, it's another Detroit. If we don't stop,
we're done. We're done. But those would be the steps. If you don't, if you're not, like, you know, me and Miss Jessica, we're currently fighting the establishment. But if you're just not, you just tired of enough is enough, and you're tired of going into your communities, and your communities looking like it's 2025, Jason. It's 2025. Why do our communities still look like this? Like, I mean, like my mindset is like, you cannot blame Trump for this. You cannot blame the Republic. I cannot blame not one Republican for why the South Side looked the way it looked. Exactly. Why all these abandoned buildings? It's millions of abandoned buildings in the city of Chicago, but y'all chose my building that was not abandoned to knock down because
and then you have
money, because it's sitting on a TIF on some TIF land, and a TIF land is worth millions of dollars. That's why. However, that is what we're dealing with. And like I said, I used to work for Dick Gregory, and Dick Gregory used to always say, "It's a game, baby. It's a game." And I never understood what he was saying until I got in this elevator with this white man, and this was before they pushed Kamala out there on us.
Gotcha.
I said, what? I said, man, what do you think about this election coming up? Right. And this is when I start trolling Chicago real bad. This part I didn't know what I was going if I was voting for Trump yet, because I was hoping for like an economic boycott. But nobody was. That was shadow.
Really?
But I had a hat on that said "Make Chicago Great Again," to let them people know, like, I'm not playing with y'all. But when I was on this elevator with this white dude, I asked him, I said, what do you think about this election coming up? He says, the Democrats have to win. He said, I'm in pharmaceutical sales. Sorry if I'm being selfish. I said, game on. I said, because them same pharmaceutical companies is killing us.
It's killing us.
So you just care about your money. You don't care that it's killing our community. You don't care that is harming us. The Democrats have to win because you're in pharmaceutical sales.
That's crazy. That's nasty work. What are you about to say, Danny?
In these churches, when you go into your neighborhoods, just look at your neighborhoods. We got abandoned building, a church. So we got like 5 churches on one block. And then the rest abandoned buildings. But we got the most crime and the most drug addicts on those blocks where them churches at.
Right.
You see, you see what I'm saying? So and guess who they pushed? The Democrat Party. They just did a march here in Chicago because Trump is getting rid of DEI.
I just talked about that, yeah.
But you all didn't do a march when our kids, about 5 kids, got shot. Just, just innocent. Some in their homes, some of them just playing in front of their house. No protest. Wasn't nobody outraged with that. You wasn't outraged when we were complaining about you allowing illegal saturating in our communities and pushing us out and taking our neighbor community, our field houses. The preachers didn't complain about that. No Black leader complained about anything that was really hurting the Black community. But you want to protest DEI. Now, I just want to say this, what made me really just say, this is it. Now, me and my husband, I'm a trainer, right? My husband gave almost 30 years to CPD, Chicago Police Department.
Okay.
And now we bought a building in 2019, right? So our thing is we have like boot camps for couples, marriage couples, and then, we try to go to the park, have
training sessions.
Workout sessions for the community.
Makes sense. I like it.
I had to go through all these permits from the city of Chicago. Permits, you got to go get insurance. You got to go through all these permits, jump through hoops as a citizen to go up to across the street to your car that you pay the taxes on to just do something for the community, right?
Wow.
Business. Now, I pay big taxes. I don't like my taxes. My husband paid big taxes, CPD. We bought a bill in 2019. We tried to get near 2020, 23, after COVID, 22, 23. We trying to get 24. Actually, 24 in now. We trying to get small business loans. Been trying to do it. Oh, you got to go through so much. We can everything what we making. 10 years of credit, 15 years of credit. Everything you giving them, they need for business Black owned. Now think about it. I'm a Black woman. Look, Black woman and all the minorities, I fit all the boxes, right? Black woman in a community. Why they denied us? We can't get it, or they keep prolonging it. Why now we here? Now we got illegals on our corner, every corner, right in front of my house, down the street. They allowed to set up illegal restaurants where they are sitting up there cooking hot food with grease and everything. Now, did they get any permits to go in the park or do that? Did the city of Chicago tell them they need insurance and all that? These are illegal aliens. No,
right.
They give them free food stamps. They give them free. I get food stamps. And the food with the stamps they're getting, they're giving them $9 in cash. They're able, someone on our block, make money, don't need insurance, don't need permits, don't need sanitation, because you can, you can die from that food if you're not cooking it right. They're allowed to do that. They are allowed to They're allowed to do that, but me and my husband can't even do that. Then with the small business, oh no, they all through hoops. And then I'm reading and coming to find out, here we go. Black people who allow them to lump everybody in with you, people of color, Hispanic, all that, Black and brown. All y'all want them to be lumped in. Allow these Democrats to lump you in with these people when you never get nothing. So I'm a Black woman and a Black business taxpayer. I can't get that big. I can't get that small business loan. But yet I read there are over 140,000 Hispanic businesses in the state of Illinois. Quite a few owned by undocumented residents.
That's a lot of it.
The state of Illinois does not require immigration status to a business license. The Hispanic Chambers does not keep that data. With Zoe talking about the Hispanic KKK who take care of their people down there. Does not keep data on how many businesses are owned by illegals. That's what they are, illegal residents. But let's just say it's a lot, quite a few. The Illinois Hispanic Chambers, because we got them here, of Commerce, launch a campaign to make sure that all Latino businesses are protected by ICE, and we don't have no Black-owned businesses in our neighborhood. In our neighborhood, what we got? We got Koreans in our neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
We got Indians with these Dunkin' Donuts. We got Arabs in our neighborhood. We got all these. Now, I'm going through everything trying to get a small business loan, everything the right way. Now,
Right.
I'm seeing Mexican business pop up with tacos and Venezuelan pizza shop, all in my neighborhood, brick and mortar business. Yet and still, I can't get that. But yeah,
Wow.
these are the people that get these loans, these small business loans. And then let me say this. So now, I keep telling you, these are your priority. These are the policies of your Democrat Party. They don't care about you Black people. They lump you in with everybody and minority people of color. Yet Black people, you never benefit from those things. Now we just looked at, let me just say this right quick. Trump just put Kelly Law, he made her president of the administration of small business.
Small Business Administration.
Yeah,
Yep.
he made her the administrator. Look what she said. The reason why we say that you gotta go red because the policies. Now, this is what she said. Small business, first of all, she gonna move them out of sanctuary cities. Since y'all don't want to cooperate with ICE and all that, we're gonna move them out. Not only that, she said, today I am pleased to announce this agency will cut all access to loans for illegal aliens who relocate our regions and offices of sanctuary cities. So they cutting out all the illegals to get these small business loans.
Right.
We will return our focus to empowering legal, eligible businesses like mine, owners across the United States in partnership with in partnership who share the administration's commitment to secure the border and safe communities should be added. She said under President Trump, the SBA is committed to putting American citizens first, starting by ensuring that zero taxpayer dollars goes to fund illegal aliens and their businesses.
I love it. So, and I hate that that's happened to you because it sounds like you definitely are passionate about your business and about what you're wanting to do. And the fact that you're not able to get a loan, you're not able to get support for it is horrible. And so as you're looking into the future, what is your, for lack of a better term, how optimistic are you about flipping Chicago red or getting 20 councilmen or aldermen next time around? What's your wet finger in the air, Zoe?
It's not 20. We're going to get 30.
Oh, okay. Hey,
yeah,
go big.
30.
I love it.
We're going to get the governor's seat. We're going to get Dick Durbin's seat. We're going to get the mayor's seat. We're going to get Tony Preckwinkle's seat. It's going to be a red wave. It's going to be a black. We're going to make Black history. It's going to be the historical moment. So it's going to be a turn down, turn up. We'll drink what you probably don't drink, so we'll have grape juice and crackers.
Well, hey, whatever. Hey, I'm gonna celebrate with you though. That will be nonetheless. I will celebrate with you.
I'm weaning off. You know. So, but yeah, no. It's personal.
Yeah,
I hear it.
Personal. And it's a lesson. It's a lesson for our kids.
Yes.
It's a lesson for our kids.
I love it.
Don't you ever play with Black America again. Don't you ever play with Black Chicago again. Don't you ever play with our kids again. Don't you ever play with our Black men again and our men. Don't you ever play with our families again. Don't you ever play with the entrepreneurs. Don't you ever try this again. Don't you play with our elders. Don't you ever do this again. So I'm not going back and forth with nobody. I'm not going back and forth with anybody that suffers from Stockholm syndrome. I'm not going back and forth with nobody. At the end of the day, we were Republicans first.
Yeah.
Okay, that's
Man.
number 2. Number 3 is on that 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendment. That is ours.
That's right.
Okay, and the 14th Amendment, that these black politicians and these that are crashing out, that's Danny's term, she got me saying crashing out every 5
I love
minutes.
it. They be crashing
They're
out. Absolutely.
crashing out for these illegals. How
Yeah.
in the world are you out here fighting on the 14th Amendment for equal protection for some illegals who haven't put a dime in this country, but you're dealing with people like Danny and her husband who can't get SBA loans, and they didn't take a PPP loan out, which they shouldn't have to do. But look what they're doing. They arrested everybody that's got a PPP loan while you gave the illegals all the free PPP loans. The same with the vaccination. Y'all fired people. Y'all killed people. Y'all did all types of stuff if they didn't take the vaccination.
That's
but
right.
The illegals come over here, and not only do they take the vaccination, we have tuberculosis, measles, chicken pox, smallpox, stuff that we got it all. We have
In our
stuff that we
schools.
can't even pronounce because
In
of
our
these
schools.
people. So my thing is like, nah, these people have been laundering money in the name of oppression, black oppression for forever. We have been funding the Democratic Party for their illegal Ponzi schemes and forever. And we have yet and so there's nothing a Democrat can say to me, or like even with the 94 crime bill. The fact that they put us in jail, put our black men in jail, some of them still sitting in jail right now on RICOs when all of these people are committing a RICO. They're all committing a RICO. That's number 1. But number 2 is how do you go and mess up the black family? Like the Democratic Party they are the reason why single mothering is a thing. You understand what I'm saying? Like they literally did this on purpose, but you want us to have dignity with you letting these Hispanic families stay together. If you get out, Democrats are done. So it's a red wave. It's not nothing else to discuss.
I love it. Nothing else.
Wants to come this way and challenge me? Let's go. I know what Chicago Fifth Red and the rest of the city with common sense and logical common sense and critical thinking skills is going to do. And we're going to get the kids involved. The kids are involved.
Yeah,
we have Chicago Fifth Red young conservatives.
I got it. Now, I want to, there's a good question. I want to pose this to both of you because you're in Chicago. You both have talked about this in some way, shape, or form. But shout out to David. He says, sorry if this question's been answered before. But do they have any ideas on stopping the weekly shootings in Chicago? And I didn't tell you this, Zoe. I told Danny before. I'm originally from Aurora. So I'm familiar with the weekend update from Chicago of what happens over the weekend, regular 2-day weekend, God forbid a 3-day weekend, you get the report on how many people
just got shot last weekend.
Yeah, 15
right. That's crazy. Is there anything that what would you say needs to be done?
A Republican mayor that's about to get in there in a couple of about a year.
Okay.
A year some change. That's number 1. Number 2 is, and the feds got to come. Like I pray every day that Cash Patel and Pam Bondi and everybody else coming. It need to be Operation Greylord 2.0. If your listeners don't know what Operation Greylord is, they need to go look it up. But it happened in the 1980s, and it needs to be another one of them. These people got to go to jail because it's not gonna stop. The weekly shootings is not gonna stop. He took ShotSpotter out. He is not gonna stop. He doesn't care.
What is ShotSpotter? What is that?
It was a It was a detection. It was a detection system that if like someone shot, especially in predominantly in our neighborhoods because they love to do it, and in the brown neighborhoods, if somebody would shoot, you would hear a shot or something like that. The ShotSpotter would detect it where it's about. It could be over here. There was a police officer. She was getting off work and she was going into her home and these kids robbed her. She was killed. ShotSpotter it detected the shot. If the shot spotter would have never been there, her mother would have found her probably dead the next morning.
Mm-hmm.
So shot spotter was it was a detection. So it wasn't supposed to find the actual shooter. That wasn't what shot spotter was. However, they took that away because he made it. That was a campaign promise. He also was saying that shot spotter is not working. It's not doing what it needs to do. But you don't work either. You don't do what you're supposed
and
to
it do work.
You understand?
And
However, if you feel like shot spotter didn't work, because a lot of people said that shot spotter it could have been another mechanism. You didn't find nothing to replace it.
Mm-hmm.
You understand? You did. That's just like somebody knowing that their job is trash. But I'm not going to leave my job until I find something else. Yeah. No.
Yeah, for sure.
He has take shot spotter away. So there's a thing going around in Chicago that CWB started, and they basically say it's Brandon bodies. So now we're on 36 Brandon bodies, meaning that all these places where these people have been killed, shot spotter was there.
Yeah, they could have detected that.
So,
I would say, let me say this, and I would say this. What needs to be done too is these kids. First of all, if you notice what the Democrats push and what they push in our community is the fathers are out the home. So if we now bring back family, if we start promoting husbands or men being back in their house with their wives and kids, raising their kids.
Sure.
No single mother while she working, the kid just out here and now he in trouble. So we have to start promoting now and bringing back to the forefront how important families are, dads. We have to start. They took away all these mental health facilities and drug facilities. People help people get off drugs and get help for mental health. They took that away from our communities. So think about it. If we could have these, first of all, if they on drugs and stuff, fathers or mothers, whatever on drugs, can get help, get clean, have them to learn more about, parenting, things like that, family, bringing the kids in, just bringing back the family dynamic to the family. And then with these kids, when these kids do something, get caught with guns, they let them right back out. They let them right back out. That's another thing. So we have to now just get tougher on crime. If you shoot, you get a gun and you shoot somebody, you going to jail, you ain't getting back out. You're going to be held accountable for that. But we have to have programs in place to just, what's the core of the problem? These kids just out here, don't have no mothers, don't have fathers, they on drugs. So they out here making money for, just out here. So you got to bring.
But some of these kids, it's no saving them.
But that's what I'm saying.
We have to. That's an uncomfortable truth. Like, and I blame the our leadership. We have no leadership no Black leadership from the national level, state level, and know that we have no Black leadership. And so some of these kids, they just there's no saving them.
Right.
Yeah. So putting them back in society is not a good idea. So some of them is.
That's why I said the ones who shoot, it's over for them. Like you kill somebody, but the ones who you got to get them before they get to that point. You understand? Before it get right there. That's what we need to do. We gotta try to, and that's what it starts at the home. But you got a bunch of single mothers who is being pushed, whereas you can be friends with your kids. They listen to Sexy Red. This is what they push in our communities. And that's what we got. Bunch of single mothers.
There's no balance. There's no balance anymore. There's no people. They don't care about morals. They're not teaching our kids anything in school. We don't have the rec centers. We don't have the YMCAs. We don't have any STEM programs. We're moving into AI. And the fact that we're moving into AI, I'm even some things with AI. I'm like, okay, I don't want to do this. Like, I just give me some old fat. Matter of fact, I really don't want to be on the internet, but I have no choice. You understand what I'm saying? But they're not preparing our kids, which is Gen Alpha that's coming up, and then some of Gen Z. They're not preparing our kids for the adult world. So and they're doing this on purpose. Now, this is white supremacy, and it has assimilated into all these different nationalities and ethnicities that's coming over here. And then we have the sellouts. You know, my thing is, I always say that we got a lot of baby coons in the making, and we got to stop the baby coons. And we cannot have the Jesse Jacksons. We cannot have the Al Sharptons. We cannot have this cycle continue to happen. So we have to start calling out this stuff right now. The coonism that has messed up our community, to the black on black economic crisis that we are. Like, we are dealing with black on black crime when it comes to us shooting each other, but let's get into the black on black economic crime, the gatekeepers, the nonprofits, the gang violence preventions, all the reverends who do not care about the community. All they care about is their check. The fact that I knew this is when the black church and the reverends, it was done when they was running out there fighting for LGBTQ. Right now, it's the hypocrisy for me.
Yeah,
for sure. How are you out here fighting for trans rights? Where in the Bible does it say that? Because you done told, because I'm part of the whatever you would call it. But for y'all to always bash me for being what I was growing up. Mind you, I never brought this up or never told anybody. I live my life the way I love. But then fast forward, y'all out here fighting for trans and fighting for illegals when our black communities look the way they look. Like this, you cannot make any of this up. Why would you keep voting this way? Why?
Let me jump in there real quick. Let me jump in, because the problem is, I think we allowed, and I've made this argument that I believe the civil rights movement was the biggest problem for the black community. Hands down. Now, I'm not saying that it doesn't negatively. I believe that all of our communities are interlaced and intertwined in many different key elements and key ways. So sadly, because the black community is tied to so many other communities, it did cause a ripple effect and a problem. Because, and my argumentation is that Martin Luther King Jr., I know y'all about to get it. I know it. I see you, Arthur. I see you. I got a troll who hates when I talk about Martin Luther King Jr. Martin Luther King Jr. took all of the focus of the church from what it was supposed to do. Martin Luther King looked at the symptoms of sinful behavior, of a sin problem, because we are sinners. He looked at the symptoms of it and felt like, if we go to the State House, because I'm here in Atlanta, so we went right down the street from Ebenezer down to the Gold Dome, that will resolve the sin issue that I have. But it doesn't. No, all you do is give me new ways to exact sinful behavior. That's all you did. And so you might have stopped me in one way, but you opened up 4 more doors. And so by making these things what they did and making it it's funny that the man talked about looking at the content of somebody's character, but we are now literally using him as an avatar to look at somebody's skin color. Like, how do y'all do this? I don't understand how this works. So to the point that you're making here, because we allowed identity politics and identity, we allow unequal weights and measures. We allow laws to be used differently for different people groups.
That's right.
And so now,
that's why DEI, like the whole thing, the people going, like, especially our black women, like, to see them going crazy about
crashing
DEI.
out.
I'm like, our whole administration in the city of Chicago right now, Mayor Brandon Johnson, he did a whole photo shoot with all the black women that he put on his administration, saying, I have the blackest administration. Yes, y'all do not do anything. Y'all don't do anything. Y'all are Y'all are do. Y'all don't do anything.
So that would actually be the best anti-advertisement possible, because then you could say, here's Brandon Johnson with all of his DEI hires, and here is the community that these people are not serving and doing the right thing for. You can't blame anybody else. So it would be so. Brandon, great job, Brandon. Shout out to you.
Look at all these black faces. Look, he said it. Look at all these black faces.
And look what they're doing.
You can't blame Trump.
His words.
Yeah, you can't blame Trump.
He's proud to say that I put the first black this, the first black that, the first black of not doing nothing. None of these people do anything, because if they did, we would see the results. And I'm seeing that the Brown getting what they need to get. I see everything. And I see got Molly over there, policy over politics. Like she was also talking about when you were talking about bringing up the guns in the alley. There's guns. They literally put guns in the alley for our kids. They setting our kids up for failure. They don't want us to have the financial resources. They sit here and act like we can buy the vacant lots next to each other. I'm watching people right now. Molly's prime example. She's been in the Washington Park neighborhood. The Washington Park has the most fiber optics in the whole city of Chicago. That's why they're trying to get Washington Park. She's trying to get her lot that's right next door to her. Now, everybody in her community has wrote a letter in support of her, except her white neighbor, who shouldn't even be over there. You know what I mean? If you want to keep quite honest, why are you over here? Okay. But since you're over here, you don't want her to buy the lot next to her, and this is where this is her home. You understand? This is where she's from. This is our neighborhood. So this is just what they've continued to do. But I cannot blame anybody but ourselves, because we have no representation in there that's riding for us. I can't get mad at Hispanic KKK for really riding for their people. Mm-hmm. The issue is how they allowed these illegal immigrants to come into Chicago, and then they directly put them on the south side. 4 shelters made it to the south side of Chicago. One shelter made it over in Pilsen. One shelter made it over to Pilsen. And that's your area. That's their area. Chicago's known for to be segregated, and we're okay with being segregated. It's fine. The whites stay with the whites, the Asians stay with the Asians, the south side, the west side, the west side. So when these people came in here, y'all directly put them on the south side in affluent neighborhoods, Hyde Park, South Shore, Bronzeville. You know, why? Why over there? Why you didn't? They had one downtown. They had Streeterville and stuff like that. But none of the people who was riding for the sanctuary city, was going hard.
The white liberals, the white liberals,
sanctuary city, and all that stuff. They never put any of these people in their neighborhoods because Venezuelans and majority of the Mexicans. You don't see me on this thing. Majority of the Mexicans and Venezuelans don't get along. So that don't have nothing to do with us. But that is what the city of Chicago has always done, because we do not get out and go to our committee meetings. We do not go down there and see what's going on. All we do is vote when it's time for them to come around. And they give us a gift card.
They give us turkeys.
They
give us turkeys. And look, we say, "Oh my God, that was the best. That's the best person ever."
Not turkeys.
You know you got to get a turkey when it's election time.
Oh man! Real quick, I want to say thank you to. There's a question actually. Thank you, Roland Lucas, for the $10 super. He says Maryland is the same when it comes to kids who commit violent crimes. A judge let a 17-year-old out as a child out for the child to delete 2 more people. Let them young run wild out there in Maryland, and it's elsewhere as well. But I guarantee you, is Maryland run by Democrats? Yeah. Yes, it is.
You see, look, I keep saying different faces, same. Y'all got to look at it. It's different faces, same policy. No matter who they put up in front of you, mostly it's gonna be black, especially if you're in the black area, because y'all gonna vote identity politics. It's gonna be the same outcome, just a different face, because their policies are their policies. That's why every city, and state. We talking about New York, California, like you said, Maryland. We have to do this all over. We have to vote red. We have to get these people out of office if we want to have us a chance. Because I don't see Black America in these places having a chance if they don't, especially Chicago, where I know we wouldn't, and we don't. If you all in Chicago manage to put another Democrat back in Chicago in any of these seats, it's over for y'all. And I'm gonna go and I'm gonna move to a red state. I'm gonna take my stuff elsewhere, move to a red state, and I'm gonna leave y'all with y'all decisions. How much we fighting now, which I don't think I know it's gonna change. I have faith, but I'm just saying.
I agree with her too. Now, because the only way that we would lose, because there's a lot of dead people that still vote here. You know what I'm saying? So so that's a whole nother situation.
We got it here in Georgia too.
Oh, y'all got it in Georgia.
We got it in Georgia.
Yeah. So but I agree. I was going like last year before I even decided to vote for Trump. I said there's no way if she gets in office, like I gotta move out the country. It's over. It's over.
The country.
It's over. I was, man, Jason, I saw all this before I even decided to vote for Donald Trump. I said, ain't no way in the world. We're done. We're doomed. We are doomed.
Yes, it's over for us. Especially as what Zoe was saying, because she was basically telling, like, Washington, maybe, some Democrats in certain places, like she said, like you were saying in Atlanta, y'all not dealing with as what we dealing with in Chicago. So, you might see things different because of, like you said, the things you're dealing with. But for sure, we know for sure in Chicago what was going to happen and if we don't go red. So we're in a dire situation here in Chicago, and you see even when President Trump got in, you see how they're still fighting to protect these illegals. They have we're bankrupt. Think about bankrupt, and they're still spending our money with giving illegals. They're having workshops all around Chicago to educate illegals on their rights, how not to work with ICE, and to take our taxpayer money, we bankrupt, remember, and give them legal counsel. That means give them lawyers. They're paying for lawyers out of our taxpayer money. So imagine if another Democrat would have got. Now Trump fighting this. Imagine if Kamala would have got in.
Yeah, it would have been over for us. What part of you are you living in Atlanta?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, so I was living in Georgia. During COVID, I was working with Killer Mike and his wife. And when I was there, I watched. I was there through the whole thing. I know about. I know all. I'm still paying storage. I'm paying now almost $1,000 a month in storage because my stuff been in there ever since I had to come back and fight. But that's how I decided to do what I'm doing, because when I was in Atlanta, I watched them cheat that election. You understand? It went blue. Mm-hmm. But I remember I told Brandon Johnson, after the third time asking, could he please sit down and look at all the paperwork my mom has and settle this case. I told him, I said, look, man. So I was in Georgia when I was living in Atlanta when they flipped it blue. I said, if y'all don't settle this case, I'll flip Chicago red. Because that's what I was on. Ain't no way in the world. I watched it. I was living there. I watched it, and I knew that it was some BS though.
Oh, it was shady.
I just was praising the governor, that Kemp. I was saying if it wasn't for Kemp, because Keisha Lance Bottoms, she wanted to shut it down, the government down during COVID. It was Kemp that was like, oh no,
we ain't doing that.
Yeah, and I respected him for that, because I was watching everybody in Chicago why are y'all still shut down? Why is New York still shut down? Why is LA still shut down? Everybody was moving to Atlanta, Georgia. Moving to Georgia, Atlanta, they was moving to Texas, they was moving to Florida, because people were prisoners in these democratic cities. Yeah. Why they stealing all this COVID-19 money?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we weren't closed long at all.
At all.
Yeah.
We
were
did
locked down.
we
were
had
locked down.
we had self-declared that it was over with up here in Cobb County. We said no, we ain't doing this. We had self-declared.
But see how much sense you all, but you see how much, that's why I said it's different places and we're different folks. See how much sense y'all had. Now, I was like, I'm not doing it. I'm not getting no shot. I'm not, period. But the people here, that's what me and Zoe saying, they're so brainwashed. And so, they don't know, they're not educated on their constitutional rights. I knew y'all can't do that because
Right.
you violate my constitutional rights and you are hypocrites because remember y'all said it was my body, my choice. But when was it my body, my choice when y'all made all these, the CTV and made everybody the teachers in Chicago get that vaccine or they lost their jobs and things like that. So
Sure did.
you see what I'm saying? So
no, I got you totally.
Fall back. If we had enough sense to fight back, we would have been like you all, like no, because I'm the one saying no, but I was like by myself. Everybody else was going along with the program. So now it's just that we have to fight back. You all see it with your eyes. What's going on? Now you know that. The Democrat Party, the policies are the policies. We have to make a choice, period.
So as you all are, and as we're rounding these bases, how are you all, because this is my only fear, because I am about your passion. I'm about your enthusiasm. But again, like I mentioned earlier, y'all got rid of Lori, y'all got Brandon. There's some days I'm sure y'all might even be like, dog, Lori might not have been that bad. You know what I'm saying? But I'm being facetious, tongue in cheek. But I really want y'all to maybe just express, like, how are you making sure that how are you getting other people, like-minded persons who have aspirations in politics and such like that to join your movement? Because that's what I would love. I would love to see wake up in 2 years that Chicago did, in fact, flip red. That, in fact, it did. Y'all got 55 council people. I don't care. Yeah. Y'all got some extra ones. Y'all got some bonus ones, right? But like, what are you doing to make sure that you get those right kind of people in play?
We're gonna win. I mean, I don't.
No doubt.
Yeah, I don't have no fear. I already know. Like, we put in the work. We actually went to me and a couple of the members went to went to Washington Park. They have a meeting every Saturday. And there's a lady, she's an elder, and she's a very well-known elder in the Washington Park area. Her name is Miss Cecilia. And Miss Cecilia invited all these elected officials to come.
Democrats.
And none of them showed up. But who showed up? Chicago Flips Red.
Okay.
Now, they were more worried about us being Trumpers than the fact that none of your elected officials have shown up. And that this is the fourth, that there's 3 or 4 people in here arguing about land grab, arguing about property theft in this area in Washington Park, how they stealing property, stealing land grabs. And you ain't got none of these elected officials in here because they are part of the land grabs and they're getting kickbacks. However, you have a person like me who walks in who is fighting the same thing that y'all talking about. And so, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, and I tell them, like, go on the website, ChicagoFlipsRed.com. People keep asking where the t-shirts, ChicagoFlipsRed.com. Go on the website. We are a grassroots organization, and that and this came from, we're about community. We're about our families. We're about future. We're about fighting public corruption. We're about holding our elected officials accountable. And that's going to happen. We have to get the younger people involved.
That's what it is.
I'm not arguing with another Gen X. I'm not arguing with a millennial. And I'm damn near curse out a baby boomer. Because at the end of the day,
don't let grandma catch some strays. Don't get grandma. Come on now.
Chill out.
Yeah,
because they are the ones that keep voting for our own demise. Like, look, you ain't got no generational wealth, grandma. Okay, they took your house. They're doing everything, and you keep voting for Michelle Harris because she throws a Valentine's thing every year.
Come on, them little long stem roses mean a lot now. Come on now.
I mean, come on now, man, you can't, like, come on. She's trying to give away the Regal Theater, the last thing that we got over here.
Yeah, in the Black community.
Yeah, like they have turned. We have no landmarks. All the Black city, the South Side is Black Renaissance. It's Black Renaissance, and we have nothing to show.
Yeah.
And so baby boomers ain't trying to hear it.
Yeah.
You know so it's the kids. So it's us getting the kids involved.
That's
and
what
the
it
kids
is.
are, especially these young men. They're very much conservative. They want, they don't want. They do not agree with the Democratic policies. They do not think. They do not care about us owning anything. They don't want us to own anything, and they refuse. Even when you go and ask for certain land or vacant lots or something in our community that we have the money to buy, they'll say, "Oh, well, you got to go through the land bank, or you got to go through
land bank."
Right? And then you go through all those, do everything, and then when you're about to get the land, the alderman will go give it to the white developer or go give it to a rich developer, because at the end of the day, they have plans for that.
Yeah,
they have plans for that, so they don't even let what I really can't stand about the city of Chicago elected officials, especially the aldermen, because they have a lot. Like they give them too much control. They control the TIF money. They control a lot of things in the community. And the fact that every Black person that goes and tries to speak to their alderman about getting any type of vacant land, properties, anything like that, they don't never know how to get it. They don't never know how to do it or anything like that. But then when I'm in these committee meetings and then I'm watching all this TIF money being allocated to these white neighborhoods, the downtown and stuff, they always have these, or even in our neighborhood, certain things like the Obama Library, it's always a letter of recommendation from this same alderman who had no idea how to do it for us.
So the Obama Presidential Library is downtown. I mean, on the South Side.
Yes, and displacing people and displacing them seniors by the every week is a new senior coming down there. Yes, they are, or pricing them out, because they have a certain their retirement is only a certain amount of money. They're pricing them out of their neighborhood, and and when they go down there and express this to those no good, do nothing Black caucus and then do nothing Black aldermen down there, they just get quiet. Get quiet because they already done sold out. We can't do nothing for you, baby. I'm sorry, Miss Such and Such. I'm sorry, but I don't know. In between the Obama Library, the developers, our aldermen, and University of Chicago, we gotta turn red.
It's a wrap.
It's no choice. You have just like Trump had to get in office. This city has to turn red.
And
that's the only way you're gonna stop the bleeding completely.
Yeah, and Zoe, like she said, what we're doing is we're the youth, so we're definitely having. Let me see my phone. We're definitely having the like I said, we're having the town halls. We're educating citizens. We're making sure that, we're going to different, like I said, neighborhood by neighborhood, block by block. We're going to be out there setting up, talking to the community. So we're going to have boots on the ground. We're doing that. We're going to have to get these kids. And, because like Zoe said, these kids, we grew up on the lies, the mainstream media. That's all we had. These kids, and we didn't have social media and all that. These kids got social media. They have everything, so they know this ain't making sense. So now we can get them, talk to them. So if you 17, going on 18, register you to vote. We making sure we're out there, making sure they're registered to vote as Republicans. Now know what we're about. and how we're going to help. So if we can get that generation, which we are doing and planning on, so now you got the younger generation who's not registered to vote, getting them to vote, talking to the other people, then and just keep doing what we're doing, being diligent and being out here in the community. And like people like you, we appreciate you so much
No problem.
for your
Thank y'all.
channel, and you are letting us have a platform.
Yeah, we
to talk
definitely
on.
appreciate you because
Yes.
they definitely try to silence our voice and try to silence us because we really it's honestly, I would say right now it's literally like a 75 to 80% chance that the city gonna flip red, and they and they are. And they are scared. They're scared. They're scared because and then there is the ones who know that the Democratic Party is wrong, but they're scared of change. And it's something like it's like with those people, I appreciate that you see it's a problem. You understand?
Yes,
and
for sure.
And I appreciate that you are willing to try and change. You understand? Because at the end of the day, like Molly always say, it's policy over politics.
That's right.
And my thing is too, I love the family. I'm a very family oriented person. I love family. Always been ever since I was a child. And what I see out here is I don't see the family structure anymore. And that scares me. And that scares me for our youth that are coming up. And I don't want them to think that being an independent Black woman is the thing. Now, it's not that. Or a man is not worth anything if he's not a rapper or he's not making all these. Like, no, you can have you don't have. We need plumbers. We need electricians. Matter of fact, we need a lot of them because AI can't do that. You understand? So that is the overall goal of Chicago Flips Red. It's community. And the way in community is us, it's all hands on deck. And I mean all hands on deck. And that is what we on. And I'm not gonna let nobody come and infiltrate that.
Yes.
I love it. Now, ladies, I'm going to make sure that you all are friends of the channel. You are welcome whenever. I got both of your emails. You're welcome to say, Jason, we're doing this. We'd love to come on and talk about a rally that we're doing this. We'd love to talk about what happened after we went to this council meeting. I believe the audience looks like the audience pretty much was extremely receptive to both of you. Also, you are welcome whenever. We'd love to follow back up. Please make sure, by the way, if the moderators, here, I'll drop it real quick. Here is their channel, ChicagoFlipsRed.com. Please go by and check out all that they're doing, and of course, hit that shop, get you one of them fire red hoodies. Your favorite host. I got a lot of black hoodies. I do not have a red hoodie. So y'all, help your boy out.
We're gonna get you on.
I'm addicted to hoodies.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I appreciate this at any time. So we will. That's the goal. So we need it. And let us know. And so we have Ms. Jessica on here because Ms. Jessica would definitely need to be on
absolutely.
Here. And then we have Fuqua, Molly, in there. So that is I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
No problem. Thank y'all for coming.
And we need to also, and what we do know too is, this is all because this is a spiritual battle. We're not just fighting flesh and blood. You understand?
Absolutely.
We in Chicago, it's governed by principalities. The Bible tells us that. So we have a spirit of murder here. We have a spirit of corruption here. We have a spirit of all these things in high places that's governing these places. So our Lord Jesus Christ is not doing this for no. He put all of us together for such a time as this. And we're not just battling naturally, we're going there, but spiritually, we taking down these, because I'm fasting and praying. We have everybody fasting and praying, and for us, Chicago Flips Red. So we know that God, it's not us doing it. He's using, we're just a willing vessel.
For sure.
And he's using us to get this done and pulling down these strongholds has plagued Chicago for a very long time because his people been crying out, Lord, what's going on? The kids' blood is spilling in the streets. Our blood is
Yes.
spilling in the streets. Corruption. The devil is wreaking havoc here. And see, people praying for us in Chicago, and God has saved us for such a time as this. And that's
I
what's
love it.
happening. He have us going forward with boldness and strength. We don't even know, like, it's happening. And I'm just like, Lord, I don't even why. And it's just it's him doing it
Yeah,
with
for sure.
us. And so that's why we know that we have the spirit of David, we have Moses, we have those. He's doing it like that. And that's why we are so confident that this is not us, this is him, and we are going to win spiritually and naturally.
I love it. I love it. Well, ladies, we'll keep our communication open. And I want to have y'all come back on and keep us up to date on what's going on and how we can support you all. Of course, how we can pray for you, but then also what can we do? If, buying a t-shirt, buying a hat, buying a hoodie, but what else can we do to help you out? So definitely keep us posted. I'm going to put y'all in the back. I'm going to shut this out, but I do want to follow back up with you also. If y'all don't leave, I'll make sure to do that. So thank y'all so much, ladies. But real quick. Everybody, I want to say thank y'all for the best live chat on the internet. I appreciate y'all. Man, that was a great guest, man. What do y'all think about that? Hopefully you all got a lot from that and you're able to carry that over into some new things. Look, go to your own city council meetings. Like what's going on in your own towns? And they convicted me because I know I don't know enough about what's going on in my own town, but hopefully you all will be inspired and encouraged to do that. Please go check out their link. Let me drop it one more time in the chat. Chicago Flipped Red. Please go check them out and support these young ladies and this fantastic movement that they're doing. I appreciate each and every one of y'all for rocking with us. We're looking forward to doing this again real soon. Thank you for the great questions. Thank you for the fantastic super chats. Moderators, thank y'all again for keeping this thing moving in the right direction into peaceful harbors because we have made it there safely. Thank you all, everybody. And we're going to do this again real soon. So until then, grace and peace. Take care.